City of Philadelphia for its swift action in preparation of and in response to Hurricane Irene. From our mayor to our first responders and the majority of citizens who heeded the warnings and stayed safe, everyone's cooperation in ensuring an easier recovery and cleanup is appreciated. But unfortunately, we have another storm to clean up. A storm that we've been weathering for the past few months, if not years. And I'm talking about the tumultuous School Reform Commission, which has been a major source of the drama within the school district. Drama that we don't need right now. Drama that our kids don't deserve to be caught up in. The last 6 months have been a debacle of planning, financial mismanagement, a leadership vacuum, and a human resource crisis. While it may be interesting reading for some, for parents, students, teachers, and taxpayers within the system, it has become a sideshow, a distraction that we can no longer tolerate. Our focus must return to doing what is best for our students. The SRC has, of course, overseen improved test scores. But let me tell you this, over 45% of our students are still not reading or performing math at grade level, and over 40% of schools are not making adequate yearly progress. The SRC has had 10 years and billions of dollars to turn things around. Ladies and gentlemen, we think it's simply not working. The school district still has to grapple with a $35 million budget gap. They let down our city's public school students, their families, and the taxpayers. And the last several months in particular have showed the SRC's dysfunctional governance, because they were not prepared to deal with severe, yet clearly anticipated cuts to public school funding. When this happened, who could parents and students turn to? Who could they hold accountable for the poor planning? The answer is no one. Because under the current system, the SRC isn't accountable to anyone. This unelected board is unaccountable to the taxpayers. Yet taxpayers, once again, will have to foot the bill for increased property taxes. It's time to put the power of the school district of Philadelphia into the hands of the citizens whose taxes go to the public schools. And that's what my legislation accomplishes. Senate Bill 1210 would abolish the School Reform Commission, replace it with a nonpartisan school board comprised of 9 members elected by the citizens of Philadelphia. Now, 1 member would be elected from each of Philadelphia's 9 school regions. The member would run in a nonpartisan, ladies and gentlemen, nonpartisan election, and each member would serve a 4-year term without compensation. We like a 4-year term because we believe that gives you a reasonable amount of time to conduct the changes and progress that you think you need to. The mayor would be back in power in this situation and would appoint the superintendent. This legislation gives the voters the ability to choose the best men and women to tackle the tough issues, maintain fiscal responsibility, and set a better course for the 154,000 children and teachers who educate them. I want to thank my colleagues, Senator Larry Farnese, Senator Leanna Washington, and Senator Andy Dinniman for joining us today. They've co-sponsored this bill along with our friend, Senator Kitchen, who's also our caucus leader. And we're all working together to make this school district work better. 5 out of 7 senators from Philadelphia support this legislation. And even though he's not with us today, I also want to thank State Representative Angel Cruz for his support and his work on this issue. His legislation is House Bill 1550, which would create a referendum giving voters the option to determine if the School Reform Commission for an elected school board should control the district. I know I'm not alone thinking there needs to be fundamental changes in our school district leadership. Children will be heading back to school in less than a week. Let's start off the school year by giving families and all tax-paying Philadelphians a voice and a choice in our district's decision making. Now, I forgot to mention Senator Dinniman, who is the Democratic chair of the Senate Education Committee, and he is, we call him the professor. We'll introduce him soon, but he is you could not have a better expert on public education. And of course, Tony Williams is working with us, and he's the whip in Harrisburg. He's working with us to reform education, to make Philadelphia and the state a better place for people to go to school and get an education. So, I'm glad you're here, and this is an issue we're going to continue to talk about. But right now, I want to introduce to you my friend, who I have worked with on this issue for a number of years. And she sits next to me or near me in the state senate. We've had hours upon hours of conversation. How do we give our kids in Philadelphia a chance? How do we make it so that Philadelphia kids can get jobs, can succeed? And we're in the process of trying to figure that out. She's a supporter of this legislation. She's a supporter of our kids. Senator Leanna Washington.
Good morning. Thank you, Senator Sam. And certainly I'm here today with my colleagues to talk about an elected school board. First, I want to talk about Cornback. What was the other guy's name? Balance. And balance. And how much money we've given them in buyouts so that their contracts are no longer in existence. Then we want to talk about Dr. Ackerman. If you add those dollars up, the state of Pennsylvania wouldn't be in a deficit. What I want to see whoever gets a contract as leader of the school district, that they have a no buyout clause. Because I am tired of us giving people money to go into the sunset, particularly people who are not from Philadelphia. The one thing I want to talk about is that where's the credibility? Who does the SRC report to or respond to, or who do they think they have to talk about what they do? Nothing that they've done in the last 10 years have been about education. It's all about contracts. Something is definitely wrong with that. You know, let's talk about our children. Let's talk about education. Let's talk about them passing their scores in school so that our school district is the #1 school district in the state of Pennsylvania instead of being the lowest. Something is definitely wrong with how we're doing practices in this building here. And when the SRC came to us for confirmation to be on that board, they committed to doing certain things. Now when we ask them questions, they act like, who do we think we are, that we have to ask them what they're doing. They have to report to somebody. If they're not reporting to the governor, okay, they think they only report to the mayor. Well, the money comes from Harrisburg. Yeah. We are the people who put the money into this building along with the federal government, and I want to know what's going on. And I want to see an elected school board the way your grandfather used to run the school board, so that we continue to do business and to make sure that our children are educated, that they can read, write, and do arithmetic, and go on to middle school, high school, and then to college. We're not doing that. We're not doing that, and that is our elected duty as state senators, to make sure that this education system works and it's broke. Stay tuned.